You're
going
going
to
to
come
have
back.
pandemonium, do you think?
There, I do. I really do think that's going to happen. But we also look on the development side too with developers right now.
Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Turcotte. Today in episode 3, we're going to be discussing interest rates, home prices, and affordability, and showing the viewers where the prices were back at the peak and where they are now and where those payments are. So if this content is something that you liked or got some good education of it, if you can give it a like and a subscribe and even notify, that would help out get the content out to more people. And if you want to book a call with me to get more information on the Barrie real estate market, go down to my description and book a call with Mark.
This week with all this snow and blow, it seems like showings are slowing down.
Yeah, I think so. As we progress through November, now, really think about it, we're going into December, another 2 weeks. It's going to slow down, and once the snow's here, and the weather's changed drastically since last week, where we're wearing shorts and t-shirts on walks on the waterfront. So yeah, the market's going to slow down. And if anyone says, oh, now's the time to list, they're stupid, because it's not the time to list.
Well, I just listed one, and we haven't got any showings yet. I listed it on Thursday, but I mean, every single day is snow squall, snow squall,
Yeah.
snow squall. So
Yeah.
I mean, are people going to come up from Toronto or drive around in this weather? Like, they're not.
They're not. I talked to a good friend of mine who's an agent in North York area, GTA, and he had some showings up here. So we talked last night and ended up calling him this morning saying, Gary, I'd be putting these showings on hold right now just because the weather's crap. And he did. And that, again, about 10 o'clock in the morning, it wasn't that bad, but the winds kind of picked up and blowing. So it was the right call, because you don't know what you're going to get. And I don't think people right now too are really thinking real estate.
Well, and they don't want to move into at Christmas, right?
No, they don't.
So the Bank of Canada, apparently in December, we're getting another interest rate hike.
Well, it's December 7th. They're going to mention it. I personally think it's going to be 25 basis points. I don't think they're going to go ballsy and go 50. I don't, but I don't know.
I know. And they're saying that the inflation, the numbers they just posted, haven't changed. It's the same.
Well, but as a whole, no, they haven't changed. They're the same. But what people are forgetting too is that with this CPI, rents are a big part of this CPI. And look where the rents have been.
Yeah.
They're only getting higher. When you got a 1.4% vacancy rate, I tell you, it's a cash cow for landlords right now because of that. There's so much demand, and as people being pushed out of this market are forced longer to rent.
Yeah, it's only more of a problem.
Right, but look how much fuel's come down this week. I think the barrel's down like $11 this week, or 11%. One of the, I saw it on the news on Friday. So yeah, it's coming down, but I think they really need to stop and take a look as well and go, we see things coming down. Food's still up there, but we see still some things coming down. But I don't know, how much more can people take of increased rates like this? I don't know.
Well, I know. And I did a little, so I was talking to my mortgage guy, and we were discussing rates and payments and stuff like that. So I got some rates from him from February, then July, and I'll share it here so we can kind of look at it together. So this is a detached house, 20% down, 5-year fixed, 25-year amortization. So in February, the rate for a 5-year fixed was 2.89. But the purchase price was 1.1. And I do have, I have some examples, so I'll show you. So this is like a bungalow, fully finished bungalow, up and down, 1.1. The mortgage amount at 20% down would be $880,000. and their payment was $3,740.99 a month. Just say $3,741 to round it up, right? Then in July, purchase prices were down, and I have examples of this, to like $850 for the same house.
So that 1.1 is now a new kind of an 850 today, 850 to 9, maybe, to be safe, depending.
Exactly. And
Okay.
now your mortgage amount is only $680. So we're down $200,000.
Mhm.
But our payment is $4,087
Okay.
because the
So-
rate's now at 5.34.
Here's my take on that too, and I'm going to jump in here. Yes, and it's the same, but do you think people are missing that the property's on sale now when we're at 1.1 and it's down to 850? Yeah, yes, the payment's higher and because reflected in the rate from 289 to 5.34 fixed, but wow, what a difference. Like, to me, someone just bought themselves potentially a couple $100,000 in equity over the next couple of years.
It's true. So I was just talking to my mortgage guy about this whole scenario when I got all the rates off him. And he said that the problem is that this person that was approved up here at 1.1
Mhm.
only had to do a stress test of 4.89.
Correct.
And now they're doing one at 7.34. They wouldn't even get approved for the 850.
Correct. Correct.
So the problem isn't necessarily the payment amount, it's the approval amount.
Yeah. And
so now in November, the purchases since July to November, the purchase prices are basically the same.
they're pretty stable.
They dropped a huge amount and then they stayed. And now, but our rate went up to 5.59. And it just got reduced from 5.79 yesterday. So that 5.59 is just like brand new. And so the payment amount keeps going up. Purchase prices aren't going down.
And with that rate being like the interest rates are very tied to the bond yields, and the bond yields have really come down a lot in the last 8 days. So, that's probably one reason why some of these 5-year rates are teeter-tottering all over the place for the last couple of weeks, because for a while they were kind of flying high in bond rates. So anyway, we won't get too much detail about that. But yes, the prices are very stable from July to now. We've seen the stability, but we also need to talk about why they're stable. And I think why they're stable is because
lower inventory, no?
Well, that too, but person A, let's just say, back in February qualified for 1.1, they probably wouldn't get the 850 today, but they may get the 750 to 8 or 780. So when we talk about that opening price point, in a sense, that average price, in a sense, it could be a small detached property like you got listed. It could be a town. Those we're seeing quite solid stability in that ranges. And then we're seeing a lot of not so much stability and coming down is those higher ranges because they can't qualify for them.
Well, that's exactly the problem. So I'm going to try to show you here a couple of examples. This house was listed for $899,900 and they withheld offers down here. Offers will be reviewed Tuesday, February 8th, and it actually got 1.1 firm. So this is a 1,400 square foot bungalow, 2 bedrooms up and 2 down, 1.1 it got.
And that's probably a 9 to 925 maybe.
Well, so now you have, 84 Sproul, which is 2 bedrooms up, 2 down, same neighborhood, right around the corner.
Yeah.
1,500 square foot bungalow, fully finished. And it was listed this was done in, I think
September,
it's the August, right?
Yeah, August.
And it was $799 and it sold for $820. And like, these are the same houses.
Okay, I know that property well because I brought the buyer in the deal. So with that bungalow, it was originally listed for $899, I think 28 or 30 or 45 days. I can't remember. And then as soon as he took that down to $799, I jumped all over it, called my client, goes, we need to go look at this. I think this is going to turn quickly. Sure enough, we go up the next day and get something going on it. Sure enough, hey, Mark, you're competing now. But I was very surprised that they went down that low, which was great for my buyer, because that's a lot of house for $820,000.
Oh, it was a beautiful house inside.
Yeah.
It
layout
was
was
actually, listen, you know how it had more open concept and cathedral ceiling?
Yeah.
The one at 1.1 didn't even have that.
Yeah.
So this is a huge, like you see a huge difference. Now,
Huge.
the only thing I can see was this one's actually bigger, but the other one had a true double car garage. Like
You
two
can fit two
actual
cars in
doors.
that thing. Like, it's big. It may not look that way you can get two cars. You couldn't get two pickup trucks, but it's a double.
Yeah, it's a double, but not like the extended double. Yeah, that's the only difference though. Only difference.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna look at the townhouse, which same thing, 20% down.
But hang on, before we go there though, let's just talk about, I got one more point to talk about Sproul, because I think today he would probably get 850 for that house today.
Yeah.
He would, because now the demand is gone up even more, right?
Yeah.
For it.
Well, because there's less on the market, and trying to find something good at that price range is very difficult.
Correct.
So this is the townhouse, and I have examples of these as well. So the townhouse, they in February, $850,
$3,180,
and that's at 2.89
fixed rate.
And the mortgage payment is $680. $680,000 is the mortgage amount.
Correct.
So then in July, same houses were selling for $700. I have examples of this too. So your mortgage amount was $560,000. Your payment was $3366 at 5.34. Now we're into November at the new rate. We're now at $3447 for the same mortgage amount of $560 and the same purchase price.
Correct.
So you went from, and again, we're back to, they have to be approved at 7.59.
Correct.
And my mortgage guy was saying, you know, they should have a cap on the rate for the stress test, like 6.25 or 6.5 or something.
Well, they should get rid of it, because I see it being valuable to when we're in a real hot market. But, you know, we're not in a hot market, you know, but I think some adjustments definitely need to be done, but I don't think they're coming anytime soon.
Oh, guess what else? When I was Googling mortgage rates, banks were giving special discounts. Like they were giving, offering special discounts on rates. So this is our going rate, but this is our special rate, because you know what's happening. There's less business for everybody, not just real estate agents. Everybody's got less and less business, and now they're offering deals to come get a mortgage to try to get some of the, you know, be competitive in the mortgage industry.
And the mortgage industry is very competitive, and that's nothing new, where you see lenders coming out with specials. Hey, from say, again, I'm going to make this up, from July to, I don't know, August 15th, we're discounting the 5-year fixed rate by 25 basis points, or an example. Like I've seen it many times throughout the years, because it's a very, very, very competitive business.
Yeah. So now they're doing that right now. So it sold at $699, and it was listed at $699, multiple offers, sold at $840.
When?
In February.
Okay. And to that too, like I've seen a townhouse, the highest townhouse that I've seen sold in 2022 was $950.
Okay, you see this one, 6 Piercy, same house, same end, same street, 700
in July,
in August.
Yeah, so you know, down 150 to 200K is realistic, right? For that type of property, and you know, as we mentioned, there's stability, and I really think that's going to continue in this market, and I think the Piercy's of the world and these other properties, whether it be Sproul, some other ones in that 850 range down, will continue to go. But we also got to remember too, what happens if come March, we don't see the inventory levels go increase. Because think about it. There's still a lot of sellers that are going to still say, well, I'm not going to sell right now. Why bother? I'm so used to, I want to get this much and I know the market's not there. So how much of a play is that going to play on the spring market coming up for 2023 if there's no product?
Well, listen, not only that, if the interest rates stay, which apparently through the first quarter, they're going to, okay, then if I sell my house, I have to buy something way lower because now my approval is going to be way lower. I'm not even going to be able to get a house as good as what I have, and I'm going to be paying more money. Why would I sell it then?
Well,
I'm not going to
for
sell.
sure, for sure. There's no reason, but I think, again, with immigration, I've mentioned this gazillions of times on other posts that I've done. They're coming and they're arriving, and half of that immigration that's coming into this country is migrating in Ontario. So some of these bedroom communities are going to be pushed through with that. So if supply remains the same or lower, we're in a market. It's dictated by supply and demand. If demand picks up a bit, which I really think it's going to pick up, because once the Feds pause, and I think that's going to be 25 basis points. But once they pause, that's going to bring back some buyers. Automatically, it's going to bring back some buyers. If we see the GDP slip down for a little bit of 2 months, maybe 3, you'll see a rate decrease. So what's going to happen then?
Oh, you're going to have pandemonium, do you think?
I think so, but we also have to keep in mind too, I really do think that's going to happen. But we also look on the development side too with developers right now. Article I read last week, a third have put their projects on hold or paused due to one thing. Laborers can't get people. They're being impacted. Rising rates. Is it the right time to release? I don't think so. No. And demand has fallen off a bit. So developers and builders really are going to play a really big part in the supply and demand going forward. And it's already started. I
know that happened in 2017 too. In Innisfil Country Homes, 2 years, they didn't build at all.
Right.
Because the houses they had just built were reselling almost 200,000 lower than what their new models were being put out for.
Right.
So they just stopped.
Why would a builder want to jump in bed and do a big development now when their costs are at the highest levels right now? And the market for them to get, or the margin they want to get, isn't there because the demand isn't there for it.
Yeah.
I'd pause it too. So they're going to play a big role in this. I really think it's going to be pandemonium all over again. Once the sentiment changes, once there's a pause or a decrease in rates.
Well, that's what the whole problem is, right? Is that we're all trying to gauge or guess what the market's going to do. And if anything, in the last 2 or 3 years, it's taught us that nobody knows where it's going. Like we just don't know where it's going to go.
No.
And it also affects the confidence of the buyer too. 100%. Do I make a move now? Don't I? Even the seller, honestly, do I sell? No. Yes.
100%. And they're playing a big role in this. So those sellers that, again, we've seen lots of them this year, mainly at the beginning, that when we saw the peak in February and this inventory started coming on in March and April and May, how many of them had said, forget it, I'm out. I can't get the dollar. I'm going to sit in the sidelines for a while before we sell again. So there goes the supply again. Look at the supply went up to almost 5 months. 5 months in Innisfil. I think there was close to 4 months in Barrie.
Yeah.
So, and right now we're sitting at 1.9, which is normal, right? It's normal for no one's listing right now.
Well,
right?
And if I saw like all my neighbors, oh, I should have sold at the height. I could have got $1 million. Okay, but you had to buy at the height as well. If you are gonna rebuy, then you're selling at the height, you're buying at the height. So it's a wash almost.
It is a wash.
If you're gonna sell low, you're buying low.
Correct.
So, I mean, if you buy too high and then you get into trouble and you can't even get your money out if you need to sell.
Yeah. And you know what? And there's a lot of buyers out there that have bought at the peak. Maybe it's a second property. Maybe it's their first property. you know, I feel bad for some of them in a sense that the market dropped so fast, you know, let's call it 30% in the last 5, 6 months, 7 months, whatever.
Well, and if I can stay there for 10 years or 5 years or
And it's good.
then it's good. But the problem is with the people that, oh, I got a new job now, I got relocated to Calgary 6 months later, or I lost my job and I can't afford my mortgage payments now, and they have to sell. And you know, nobody that bought in February is going to sell unless they have to right now.
Right. And I was talking to the mortgage girl that I do some business with the other day, and we were chatting, and she said the lenders are very, very cautious today, and they should be, because I did an evaluation on a property a couple of weeks back, and it's underwater. The loan to value on it's greater than what the value of the property is at. So there's risk for some of these lenders.
That's the problem. Like if you plan to stay there for 10, 15 years, you're a double income family, you make lots of money and you're comfortable, then it's a whole different ballgame.
Totally. It's just a curveball when someone has to sell for whatever reason. Then there's impact on their financial net worth, right? And also there's going to be a deficiency, 100%. Because
and what happens now when they go to get approved to tie it into our interest rates? Like they're not even going to get approved for close to what they already have now.
Oh, no. That buyer, I think would be super downsizing from that mortgage amount, right? Because if they've already had to, you know, if they're down, I'm going to say 200K, you know, where's that 200K coming from?
Well, look at all the people that refinance too.
Yeah, there's lots of them, and you know, and that's risk to the real estate market, right? In a sense, right? I mean, how much did we again, we talk about the stress tests. I don't think we need them, but sometimes in this situation, maybe it's for the benefit that we do have them in a sense.
Yes.
We're not in a hot market, but you know, it could turn into a crisis down the road too. And I don't think there's a crisis down the road brewing anytime soon, but a percentage of those people that bought in February their first house or whatever, and maybe they took a variable product and their payments have gone up $1,000, maybe they're going to go, hey, they're looking for answers. They're looking, go, what do I do here? I can't afford this anymore. What's my house worth? Sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it's only worth 900,000. I know you paid 1.11 for it, but it ain't worth that anymore.
I know.
What are you going to do?
Well, and during COVID, everybody was doing refinancing, right? Everybody. My mortgage guy was busy, like going crazy, not with purchases.
Mhm.
It was all refi, because I'm sitting in my house, I'm doing nothing. I'm thinking, oh, you know, I should redo my bathroom or my kitchen. Oh, I'm going to put in a pool, right? And the values were so high that people were taking out huge amounts of money. And if they went to the 80-20 and they only left 20% in there,
they're underwater. And that wouldn't be everybody, but that would be some of them for sure, right? Some of them would be in that position. So there's some risk to the lender. But, you know, at the end of the day, I still think immigration is the key to increase values. I still think as affordability erodes for a lot of people in GTA markets and Toronto markets and North York, et cetera, they're gonna continue to migrate north, and I think Barrie's going to be, you know, it's always been hot for a while. I just think it's going to even get hotter as we progress.
Barrie was rated 17 in the best 25 cities in Ontario.
It's got so much to offer, right? And it's a different lifestyle, right? It's a different lifestyle here compared to North York. And, you know, we've been seeing that for the last 10, 12 years since we've been in the business, how many people have been coming up.
Well, you're an hour from the city, so you could work in the city, but you're an hour from Muskoka.
Yeah.
You know, in the beautiful North Country there. So like you're kind of in the middle of both things. And the lifestyle is definitely different than even Bradford. Like, you know, the more south you get, the more congested you get, right?
100%. And you think about Bradford. Bradford's not the community that Barrie is. Yeah, it's closer to Newmarket and, you know, GTA
Toronto, Vaughan.
Right? It's sure not. Like if someone's looking for a great lifestyle change and who's an active person like myself that loves being out in the bush and loves being on the water in the summertime and loves skiing, this community, this is it. Like it really is.
Oh, I
right?
grew up in Bradford and there's nothing in Bradford. I mean,
Nothing there.
there's stores and stuff now. Don't get me wrong. When I grew up, like you couldn't buy a pair of socks. You had to drive to Newmarket. You know, they had nothing.
Right.
There's a lot of stores now. There's a lot of restaurants now,
Yeah.
big chain stores and stuff.
Yeah.
But like there's no water, right? There's no activities. There's nothing
No.
for nature lovers. You know
No.
what I mean? There's none of that.
Yeah.
Because I mean there is a lot to be said about that. And I think a lot of people like what I just sold in Innisfil,
Mhm.
they Googled Innisfil and saw, you know, the water, the Lake Simcoe, all the stuff. They
Yeah.
asked their agent, they were going to buy an Oshawa, and they asked their agent to bring them to Innisfil
Yeah.
because of the lifestyle there.
Yeah. Yeah. And those GTA buyers love Innisfil, right?
They
They
do.
just that's a little mini North York community there now. They love it down there, right? Because of the water, right? You
Yeah.
can see it. We can see that what our communities like in Barrie on a Saturday and Sunday. The beaches are jammed. I'm getting off the water from a paddle at 9:30 in the morning. People are walking on their beaches, setting up, you know, their places for the day just to get a spot. You know, I think we'll continue to thrive. I think we'll continue to you know, outpace some other municipalities in Ontario for growth for sure. We just got so many, you know, good things in the community. We've got the great transit system. We got the GO station right there, 2 stations in our community. So it's a real big win.
And I think the city council, they're gearing for it. You know, they're allowing all those big apartment buildings to be all those condos, and they're, you know, they're trying to help with it anyway.
There's probably, well, Lake House is going to be done in June.
There's the one on Dunlop Street. There's a big one on Dunlop Street. I don't know
Yeah,
what that is.
there's a couple there, couple in Collier, Mulcaster area. That whole downtown core, it's going to change. We're going to see so many changes in that downtown core, and it's look how much has changed now in the last year or two.
Yeah, I know.
Big, you know, price point. I mean, price increases downtown with what the city has done with, you know, interlocking brick. They put a lot of improvements downtown. It's making it more, you know, it's trying to attract new people to the downtown core because we know where they go. They go to the waterfront. Let's get them downtown to some of those businesses. You look at other communities that have thrived in downtowns, and Huntsville is one of them that has a thriving downtown business. It's geared to tourism.
Well, there's some company from Newmarket with 800 or 900 employees. Can't remember the name of the company. They secured some office building on Dunlop, and they're moving their whole operation from Newmarket to Barrie. And they said it was due to the lifestyle for their employees and the waterfront being right there and everything being there. So that just happened. The mayor was talking about it, you know, proud that this 900 employees they have. So they're trying to attract business as well. So people won't have to drive to go to work. Like if they could attract some more businesses, that would help too.
That'd be a win, and it's coming, right? It's going to come. I really don't think we're going to recognize the landscape of downtown Barrie in the next 10 years, with the amount of development, with the amount of improvements down there, condo projects, more restaurants. We're not going to recognize it. We really aren't. It's going to change that much.
Yeah. Well, even the outdoor patios. Look at the patios now and how they shut the streets down.
That's great.
It's great. They never used to allow that 3 or 4 years ago.
No. And it's good because everybody goes down, they bring their dogs, they walk around. We've gone many times taking, you know, we've gone for a walk. Hey, let's go in for a cold beer and sit in the patio and have lunch. Ted's with me. Great. He's allowed in. They don't care. We're on the outside patio.
Yeah.
It's great. And people stay when there's no rush.
Right?
I know. We can walk around. Hey, we'll make it a coffee and finish a little walk. Like it's a big win, and I think we will continue to see that as, you know, even every summer we'll get more and more of those events because Barrie's a very, you know, event community when you think about it.
Oh, there's events all the time
going on in the summer times down there. So
the Winterfest is coming up soon, and they had the Santa Claus parade yesterday and the tree lighting yesterday, and they do a lot of community events for sure.
Absolutely, they do, right? And I saw some pictures on Facebook with the tree lighting. it was a great night for it too. You know,
Yeah,
lots of people parade downtown. I should have went. I didn't, but whatever. Next year's
I had to go to a birthday party or I would have.
right. So no, I'm excited for the community, and I think, you know, it's changing, and I think it's going to continue to change for the better.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that's a wrap.
That's a
We-
wrap.